Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. Oh, it's good to be back. I'm sorry I had to miss all last week. I just got some sort of flu, and I was just sick in bed with a fever all week. But lots of fun, exciting announcements this day to be made. First of all, I got a haircut. Like, so short. My ponytail's all gone. So that's fun. But two, I got some new candy. I'm terrified. So I'm waiting until Easter. My Lenten promise has been to give up sweets, which is more of a challenge than you think in this kind of a household. I like sour candy, but this just straight up terrifies me. So I'm concerned but excited. Concerned. We'll keep workshopping that one. I have some new emotes. Was busy in the emote mine. You can see him in chat there. Caller roll. I figured that's kind of like a good eye roll for a father joke. And then Excite, little drawing of me by my friend Juniperwood. Speaking of which, she made this. It's called she calls them meep morps. Little caricatures of people. Yep. There it is. I'm super happy that she made it. She actually made it the same day I got my haircut. And so I got to immortalize the ponytail on the Meep Morp. And he's a channel reward. For 1,000 points, you can make the Meep Morp appear on screen when I'm gaming, only on the gaming screen. And to that end, I also reduced the cooldown on father jokes by 5 minutes. So it's instead of 10 minutes, it's now 5 minutes on father jokes. So I think that's all the housekeeping. I know that's a lot, but it's fun. Reason I'm starting early, I've got a meeting at 4 o'clock that I really need to be at, so I wanted to make sure we have enough time to finish. So to that end, let's go ahead. We're going to dive into more Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories really quick. I'll show you what... So if you redeem Meep, little Meep Morp Father Evan just randomly appears on screen and hangs out to help us. So last time we were getting dumpstered by Axel. I blame the fact that I was beginning to have a fever that day, so my reaction times were slow. Also, I didn't have any ice in my deck. I have fixed this. I have now tested this deck. I beat him. So... yes, your evil machinations. Nope. The problem is a lot of my Blizzagas are very low costed, so they don't necessarily always break his stuff. Like a 9. Ow, get out of there. Sora. Hate the jamming of that one. Nope, I did triangle too early there. If you press triangle too early, it cancels out the extra hits. Famous last words. Yeah, but I believe in us. Okay, you can cancel my Goofy. I don't care. No, I said I don't care. Oh, shoot. Ow. That was the close. Dang it. Ow, 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 ow. I hit the thing.
Come here. I'll make it all stop. Back off. This is it.
Oh yeah! First try. Never did have it. Turns out, when you can actually play the game. Hey, Catholic Brick, good to see you. Yep, streaming earlier. Got a meeting at 4 I need to be at. But I think this one's going to go a little longer. I'm doing well.
You're better than I thought you'd be. It was worth saving you after all.
Saving me? What do you mean?
Sorry,
Here's
I
a
would
hubris
hate
battle.
to kill the suspense.
Axel!
I was not out hubris this day. Yet. Nominee. I'm going to get out hubris by the door to the final boss. Wait, where am I? Oh, it put me way back there. That's interesting. Oh, I should re-equip a normal deck. That's the fire deck. So this is the normal deck. Okay. I am willing to override my original save file now that we have done the thing. But I want to save you all the time of me just going through and editing the deck. I know it's not the most exciting, so. 1+. How about 0? See, we have all these zeros left, and I'm worried we're going to get to the final door, and it's going to be like, aha, 1,000,000. I don't have 1,000,000.
It's over!
I was hoping I'd have a Donald and a Goofy, because then I could do the Trinity limit, which is very powerful.
It's over!
Oh, wait, there it is.
It's over!
Guys, lend me your strength! Let's explode everything in a 5-mile radius. No, 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 no. Oh, so I can go back towards the treasure room that way. Wait. This door's already open. That's concerning. So I'm actually going to come back here. I'm going to remake this into a safe spot. Pretty much looking while you work. That's great. That is all good.
You've defeated Axel. The Keyblade's power. How I've longed to make it my own.
Let Nominate go!
You've no chance of winning.
Would you use the Keyblade's power to
Erase Sora's
increase the sample
memory.
rate of your audio?
But if I do that...
That's right. Sora's heart will be destroyed.
His heart destroyed?
You can do that!
By destroying his
I'd
memories?
rather have preferred him unmarred. But he can be rebuilt, more to my liking, with time.
That's creepy.
Nominate. Do it.
No. Sora forgave me even... when I deceived him. So how could I destroy his heart? There's no way! I don't care what happens to me. I won't hurt Sora. I won't do it!
Yeah. She was
Then
showing
you
mercy
will.
and she's
Do it,
being
Nominate!
and she's getting power from it. Let's
I don't
go.
care. You can erase my memory.
Sora, why'd you say that?
Because who will I look after if I don't have Nominate?
But you won't
So
remember
just do
Nominate.
it.
She removes all your memories.
Erase my memories. Destroy my heart. I promised. I'll always protect you. You have to believe me.
Sora...
I don't need any memories to take on someone like Marluxia.
You bet! Even if Sora forgets it all, Goofy and I won't forget.
Donald's right. He and I can remember everything for Sora.
See? I'll have all my friends' memories, so I can piece my own together again.
You ignorant fool. If Nominee uses her powers to erase your memory, you'll be nothing but an empty shell. Your heart will no longer be able to feel or to care.
I would trust
Just
Goofy with my
like
memories.
Vexen's pathetic imitation of your Riku.
Take another guess.
What?
He's back for
It
reasons.
can't be.
Riku!
No. Just an imitation.
You're a shell. A shell who has had everything taken. Everything!
What can you possibly think I ever had? Both my body and my heart are fake. But there is one memory I'll keep, even if it's just a lie. Whether it was a phantom promise or not, I will protect Nominee.
But he's not even the resident
Imbeciles.
Edgelord. He's a clone of the resident Edgelord. Rose Petal Scythe. So I like that everyone in
You would
Organization
knowingly
13 has an
shackle your
element,
heart.
and Marluxia here,
Chain of memories born of lies?
his power is Rose.
You would be one who has a
That's
heart,
an element.
Yet cast aside your heart's freedom? You turn from the truth because your heart is weak. You will never defeat me!
Shouldn't you say it's a rechain of memories? Shh. All right, final boss. Let's go.
This is it! Yeah, it's over.
Yes, we did finally beat Fireboy Axel on our first try. Never didn't have it.
It's over.
Rotata. Shoot. I've reached this morning, so I'm gonna have to dig up my memories a little bit.
Your heart shall be judged!
Shoot, I changed this to ice. I should have changed this back to fire, because he's plant-based and therefore weak to...
This is it.
Oh no, he just broke. my item recovery. Trying to write an article while allergies and being tired means not braining quite as much. Yeah, that's rough. Okay, let me look at the readings really quickly. The gospel, see who it was. Oh, yeah. Jesus is like, you won't believe unless you get a sign. And then someone's like, Jesus, can you give us a sign? And Jesus is like, fine. But it's really a moment that Jesus is like still giving mercy. And that's what ultimately gives the sign, or is the greatest sign. Because the guy believes. The guy already believes in Jesus. This deck's actually pretty good. I guess I just want to throw in maybe some more... Well, maybe just a little more healing, honestly. Oof, repeated quotes and such that yeah. Brain not braining mood.
Prepare. Watch, this is it. Back off. Prepare.
I'll defeat you the same way I defeated Vexen, spamming fire!
Back off. Fire. Fire. Watch, this is it. Back off. Your heart shall be judged.
Shoot.
Heal. Yeah. This is it. Back off.
Sorry, it's hard to... I know I was just talking about the readings and then I just kind of stopped, but final boss readings, it's a hard combo.
Fire. Prepare. Your heart shall be judged. Fire. This is it.
Oh, you barely dodged.
Back off.
Rude.
Heal. Prepare. Heal. There. This is it.
Also, for those who joined late, I have new emotes and channel reward stuff, including that father jokes are now have a much lower cooldown.
This is it. Back off. Your heart shall be judged. Fire. Fire. This is it. Watch, back off. Prepare.
I'd really rather not.
Heal. Fire. Prepare.
Ah! No! Jerk.
Fire. Yeah. Fire. Heal.
Okay, first reload, he only has 2.5 health bars left. That's pretty good by my standards.
This is it. Back off.
Oh, Step Zero has redeemed Meep. Where did Meep appear? I didn't see.
Yeah.
He shows up randomly around the screen. Oh no! That slate was set up wrong.
Fire.
Dead center. Nice. Good job, Meep.
This is it.
That's made by my friend Junie Perwood. She's a VTuber,
Back off.
and she does those little caricatures. Calls them Meep Morphs.
Take this.
Get Trinity Limited. Oh no, he canceled it just before the damage went through. That's not good.
Heal. Yeah.
Okay, he is on his last health bar. But we are reloading. Ow, 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 ow. I think that's bad kidneys. I didn't have a 0 prepared there. That was rough. But yeah, just based with the readings, it was my homily was basically we don't have to be big and flashy with our faith, but rooted more deeply in a relationship, and we can do amazing things and show people the love of God. No, I hit triangle.
Your heart shall be judged.
Oh, you know what I should equip? Actually, I'm just going to let him take me out because I realized there's something, there's an important card we should have in our deck. It's the auto revive one. Let's see, who is it? It's Vexen. Okay, we just have to take one thing out. Wonder if I could do that cheaper. I can, but still just barely. Oh, we're 1 point over. That's ridiculous. There we go. Also, hi, Mesozoic Mind. Sorry, I didn't see your name in chat earlier. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well.
This is it. Prepare. Back off. This is it.
Your heart shall be judged.
Yeah. Fire. Fire. Back off. Prepare. What? Prepare. This is it.
I'd really rather not prepare. You need to prepare for this.
Back off. This is it.
Yeah, to beat Axel, turns out the big secret that helped was having a little more ice in the deck, and also not being sick.
Fire. This is it. Back off. Heal. What? This is it. Back off.
Your heart shall be judged.
This is it. Back off.
Rude. Nope. I said rude. That's not permission for you to hit me.
This is it.
You had a good weekend? Sorry, I can't keep reading the message. I saw something about your retreat. I hope it went well.
Back off. Heal. What? Fire. 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 Fire.
Your heart shall be judged.
Funnel. This is it. Back off. Fire.
Ow, 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 ow.
This is it. Take this!
Why is he not using a zero? I'm deeply concerned.
This is it!
Okay, he's down to the last health bar.
Away!
Shoot, shoot. Oh, dang it. Oh yeah, we get auto-revived. I thought that was it. First doesn't do a whole lot of good. Ah, dang it. Okay, that time he got me. You had a good weekend. Went to a conference on prayer, seminary retreat center on Long Island featuring. It was really good. Spiritually rejuvenated. Oh, that is great. Yes, Kit, this guy really rose to power. Except he doesn't because he's trying to overthrow the organization and he fails.
Watch, this is it!
Your heart shall be judged.
Does it have to?
Fire! This is it!
Prepare.
Fire! Fire! Back off!
Sir, what were you even aiming at there?
Heart will be scattered.
Oh, that is so not good. Is the stream longer than normal or just shifted up an hour? We'll find out. Gotta as things unfold.
Heal! Watch, this is it!
I have to be done
Back off!
a little before 4. Like, that is the hard cutoff today. So I started a little early
This is it!
because of that, because I've got this meeting to attend.
Your heart shall be judged.
Back off!
I don't like that we had to use our revive that early, but we could also still be fine.
Heart will be healed.
This is it!
Ow, ow, ow.
Back off!
Your heart shall be judged.
This
You
is
wanted to erase my heart. Now you're talking about judging it? Come on. Be consistent.
Fire! Fire! This is it! Heal! It's over!
Hey, Pentakill, good to see ya. Well, I will be honest, Sub-Zero, I did not expect so many meetings when I became seminarian originally, but here we are.
Fire! Fire! Fire!
Ooh, I don't have a 0. I do have 1 0 left. Okay.
Heal!
Your heart shall be judged.
Heal!
Well. Okay, this round's not going so hot.
Watch, this is it! Back off! Yeah! Ha! Fire!
Prepare.
Shoot. Ow, 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 ow.
Your heart will be scattered.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it for that round. A valiant effort. I'm wondering if I actually want to... I'm going to go with my normal deck for a moment here. Just make some edits. Removing all of that. Putting in a full heal suite there along with the 0. I won't put in a second high ether, whatever it's called. I thought I had 2 high elixirs. I guess not. Guess I can take that out though. Oh yeah, that resets your load counter. Gale, thank you for the 15-month resub. Yes, I got a haircut. I got quite a bit of haircut. Let's just take that out. Let's have 3 of those. And fire. That's too much fire. Awkward. Let me take out some of this in favor of a little extra magic. There, I have 2 Faragas now. Let's take that out. Let's actually... I think it's Fed Kidney, so I need to take that out. There we go. What do you mean I've exceeded my max? Oh, I barely went over. There. In what universe is there too much fire? Like that saying you have enough DACA. Hey, Bad Roxy, thank you. Thank you. Like the haircut. My hair is wavier than it used to be. I'm still getting used to that. See, Sonic Blade is nice, but it doesn't do that much.
It's over.
Blitz actually seems to be more effective.
Yeah, it's over.
Your heart shall be judged.
Back off. Fire. Fire. Heal.
Well, I think if you want that full Kitsy, there is a redemption for channel points. What do you mean my 101 card deck is illegal? It's only illegal in certain formats.
It's over. Fire. Fire. Heal.
Oh, that was bad. That was a waste of a, Oh, well. We live here now. Capitalism at its finest. All right, mods, what would you like to do a poll about? Why did I do it that way? I legitimately don't know.
Heal! Goofy!
Loyal!
Get goofed on. I want you to use this. I wanted to use that to break your card, but... What? Oh, and I didn't activate the auto revive. Out of curiosity, how long does OCI usually take in your parish, the US in general? Usually an academic year, although it can take longer. You know, so it'll usually start in September and go until Easter. But some places are doing like a year-round thing and kind of keeping it open and fluid. And just kind of like as folks are ready. And I prefer that model, but I will also confess that doing that model takes a lot more organization than some places have the bandwidth for. Excuse me, I did not give you permission to teleport away from me.
It's over! Fire! Fire! Heal!
Yeah, I'll break your 0 permanently.
This is it! This is it!
Ah! No, I wasn't prepared for you to do a slate to break my things. Oh, that reminds me. I need to activate Vexen.
It's over! Yeah!
Your heart shall be judged.
Fire!
You don't have a heart.
Fire! Heal! This is it! Yeah! It's over!
Your heart shall be judged.
Fire! Heal!
Sorry, I can't really talk to chat today. In the middle of this boss fight. And it's kind of intense.
Fire! Guilty!
Loyal!
Ow.
Heal!
I'd really like you to use a 0 right about now, please. Actually, you know what? I'll reload because then I can get there.
Heal! Fire!
Because then I can get that off later.
Back off!
Oh shoot, wasn't paying attention. It's okay, we got a revive. Ooh, and that revive actually auto-cancels his, or ends his attack. Oh, that's right. I was like, why is that not a blitz? Okay, I rolled into that. Maybe if Sora didn't use triple XL boots, he'd be quicker. But that's where he stores all his power. Where you are, the norm is 2 years. Yeah, that actually sounds more reasonable, not gonna lie, but... At least it's the last one. Yeah, well, he has 3 phases because he's the last boss.
This is it. This is it. Yeah. It's over. Ha! Yeah. It's over. Fire.
Your heart shall be judged.
Heal. Fire.
No overly complicated moves for you.
Yeah. Ha! Heal.
Uh-oh. I don't have a 0. I don't want this to be the time I use my heal. Or my revive, but it might. It's gonna be. Oh, and I just wasted that. And I wasted that. Okay, okay. We're restarting this fight. Throwing away all 3 elixirs. That deserves a restart. Also, for those who came late, I got some new candy. Gonna save it for Easter, you know, not eating candy during Lent. I'm terrified. I don't know what kind of bits reward I want to inflict that punishment. So we're gonna go on a journey together first. Marluxia! Yo, what up, Blake? Good to see you. We keep getting close in this fight, but then he pulls some cheap shots occasionally, and it's a pain in the patukas. Does it really count as eating candy? Yes, because I'm trying to put it off. That's why.
Fire. Heal. Fire! Heal!
Sugar still make brain go woo. Exactly.
It's over!
And I like sour candy, so I don't know how much of a punishment it's going to be. I've heard it called the most sour candy in the world by some people. I actually got the idea because I saw it in someone else's channel points redeemed.
Your heart shall be judged.
Yeah!
Get away from me, Marluxia!
Heal!
Prepare.
What? Oh, he had a 0.
Yeah, it's over.
Prepare.
Heal.
That's not what I wanted to do. I didn't realize I had a
Shall be judged.
thing loaded into the slate box, but we live here now.
Heal.
Cheater.
Goofy.
Nope. It's just sour candy. It's Barnett's, which is I guess a grocery store in England, or like a company in England. Mega sour fruits. Warning, extremely sour, and it's got a zombie on it. That's all I've got. That fright did not go great. I might switch back to the fire tech in a moment. I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up which one's better.
This is it.
You know, I'm wondering if I didn't use things like potions and mega potions and elixirs when I first played this, thinking, oh, they're items, therefore they're single use. Like, you use the card and that's it. Never again.
It's over. Fire. Fire.
Your heart shall be judged.
Heal.
I could see my brain thinking that way. Not a good time to accidentally throw away 0.
This is it.
Prepare.
Yeah, it's over. Ha!
Pure citric acid? Sign me up!
It's over.
Actually, I don't want to use a 0 for that. Just using a 0 as a 0 is far more effective.
Your heart shall be judged.
Heal. Yeah.
Ow.
Heal. Fire.
Okay, I don't know what you were aiming at there with the fire, but you do you, Sora. You, in fact, do you. Yeah, I saw the gigantic tubs, but I wasn't sure how much that would actually be worth it.
Your heart shall be judged.
Why did I throw away that 0? That was dumb of me. Okay, we're gonna auto heal here.
Your heart shall be judged.
Cool, cool, cool. He just... Found a review. Bracingly sour compared to Black Death candy. About 2 to 3 times the size and intensity of warheads and toxic waste. That's a sentence you want to read every day. Your candy is 2 to 3 times more powerful than a warhead or toxic waste. Well, I'm excited about it. My taste buds are afraid. But you know what? It'll be worth the hits.
It's over. It's over. Fire. Fire.
Your heart shall be judged.
Heal. Heal.
So I could use Trinity Limit, but the problem is that he has a lot of zeros, and I'd be afraid of him just breaking it.
It's over.
I suppose that's where I could have the thing that's like, don't let your cards be broken. Come in, but
Fire. Fire. Filthy.
Loyal!
Your heart shall be
Yeah. Ha. Heal. There. Watch it.
I don't know what canceled out the rest of that Sonic Blade, but here we are.
Yeah. It's over. Ha. Yeah. It's over. Fire. Fire.
prepare.
This is it.
Away!
Heal. Heal. What? This is it. Yeah, it's over. Fire. Fire. Watch it.
Okay, he's on his last health bar.
Shall be judged.
I'd rather it not.
It's over.
Yeah!
So you are a hero.
All right. Round one done. Actually, in one case, it's more you have to be patient like a cheesemonger waiting for his product to ripen. What? Mega Flare? That sounds like it's going to be useful. Mushu Fire.
Is he dead?
No. Oh, it was
You
your answer
could
to
say
fun.
that.
Okay.
However, what you destroyed was merely an illusion of me.
Okay, you're a kid on a
So
playground. Be like,
what?
no, I wasn't me. It was an illusion.
Another imitation.
He's really... in there?
Yes.
I knew it. I can feel his power. It's trying to destroy my heart.
Gorge, we'll just take care of him together.
Sora, come on!
Riku, protect Naminé.
You don't...
I don't have
mind?
enough zeros to do that effectively, but that sounds entertaining.
Should I?
All right.
Hey, look, they gave us a save point. That's not often in between final boss sections. That was terrible. Pentakill, thank you. Okay, we're gonna go to the fire deck. Because now that we have... Okay, Vexen is good, yes. So... we want to remove the first of each of those fires. And put in a Mushu instead. Need to do a little more editing, but... oh, well... ah, just barely over. 1 over. There we go. It is when they... it's when they know they have made the boss wrong, i.e. takes too long. Yeah, a little bit. Oh boy, Sora, this is the final battle. Are you ready? It's our last battle. I'll probably be back, guys, don't worry.
Soon the emptiness will shatter your heart. Here in this world of nothingness.
And Flower Edgelord evolved into an actual flower.
As lightless oblivion devours you, drown in the ever-blooming darkness!
I'd rather have an ever-blooming onion. That's a Digimon if ever you've seen one. Have I played Dark Chronicle? No, but I know of it. I've seen some of it. What in the Final Fantasy Lovecraftian nonsense? Exactly.
Wait! What? Back off!
It's just a perfectly normal boss.
This is it! Back off! This is it!
You know what? You asked for this.
Heart will be scattered. Do you want to scream? No good.
Back off!
Okay, so the what I've learned is that the Mega Flare is very effective, but the Fire Raid is not.
To the world without light.
What? Oh.
Fire!
Heart will be scattered.
Fire!
Your heart shall be judged. Your heart shall be judged.
Joke's on you, I've got a revive. So is that his body, his weapon, both, neither? Yes.
Fire! Behold! Behold! What? Donald! There! Fire! Heart will be scattered. Watch this! Do you want this? Yeah!
What if I don't want my heart scattered? Have you ever considered my wants and needs, Marluxia? Huh? A relationship is a two-way street.
Prepare. Fire!
Oh, dang it.
Heal! To the world without light! Take this!
I don't need light to know Mega Flare. Ow. You canceled my Mega Flare.
Behold! What? Back off! No good! No good! Fire! Fire! Behold! What? Heal! No good! Fire! Fire!
You know what? Let's try a Trinity limit. Because this guy doesn't seem to have a lot of zeros. Oh, I just loaded 2 Goofus by X. Canceling people's Mega Flare is so rude, Marluxia. Come on, that's so 2004.
Heart will be scattered. Do you want to scream? Back off! Heal! Prepare. To the world without fire! No good! Behold! Heal!
You want to get into range where I can hit you?
Behold! Fire! Funnel! Heal! Fire! Heart will be scattered.
What's interesting is this guy behaves less like a boss and more like just an enemy because he doesn't have his own deck.
Fire!
That's not what I wanted to
No good.
shoot that fire at. Also, I'm running very low on cards, so this could get interesting.
What? Heal! Prepare. Fire!
He has half a health bar left. Don't want to use Fire Raid, though.
Heal! Prepare. Fire!
As long as I keep reloading Fire,
Fire!
attack, attack, heal, I'll be fine.
What?
Like that. That was more obnoxious than anything. First try, though. Now, I'm pretty sure there's a third stage, if I remember correctly.
Doomed to the darkness.
Yep, third stage. Why is your deck so small? Yeah, much of it was broken or lost in reloads. Here we go, stage 3. I mean, you want to talk Eldritch Horror. But this one, I think we should be able to use the fire throw more effectively, yeah, because he's on the ground.
Watch back off. This is it. No good. Back off. No good.
The cards will determine your fate.
What? That's right, you have to break all of those like that.
Take this. Take
Sulk in despair.
That's right, he makes you play 50 card 2 pickup.
Your heart will be scattered. Do you want to scream?
No, I want my cards back.
No good.
Yeah.
No good. What?
Yeah.
Whoop. I'm out of zeros.
Behold, your heart is now in shackles.
Shoot. I don't like having to use use an elixir there, but that's okay. We have another.
Heart shall be judged.
Back off.
Scatter. What?
This is it.
Sulk in despair.
Oh, I hit 0. I love that it even takes your reload away. Like, that's something you have to collect.
Heart will be scattered. Do you want to scream?
Yeah.
No good.
Back off. Take this. Heals.
No good.
What?
Will determine your fate.
Oh dear. 7.
Your heart shall be judged.
This is it. Back off.
Scatter to oblivion.
No, I hit X to activate my 0.
Your heart will be scattered. What?
Stop trying to scatter my heart. We're not at that part of the game. That happens much later in the series.
No good.
This is it.
Shout out to the Fireflies
Take this.
and the Dandelions.
Behold.
Camera angles. Camera director's getting paid well. Yeah.
Heal.
Away. What?
Back off.
Dang it.
Lose everything.
Do I have to?
Your heart will be scattered.
This is it.
beginning of your end, maybe. This is truly the thrilling climactic boss fight we all...
Cards will determine your fate.
Okay. Whew. That was close, actually.
Take this!
Scatter to oblivion. Your heart will be scattered.
Take this!
Yeah, if he can destroy some of your cards that way, which he actually did for me there, which is most rude.
Beginning of the end.
Yeah, he's on his last health bar, though, so that's something.
Behold.
Heal!
Behold. Break the curse with your heart.
Fire!
This is the
Booyah! First try! That boss took me so many tries the first time I played this game. I basically had like 3 cards left because of how many he had destroyed and kept throwing me off. We get them W's. Trophy earned. The truth.
You okay, Riku?
And they all lived happily ever after.
Not Riku. I'm a fake. I can't remember why I was created or where or when. All that's inside of me is time with you and Namine. But I know those memories are not real.
Gee, Naminé, can't you use your magic to put Riku's memory back to normal?
No, this isn't normal Riku.
Well,
It's all right. I'll deal.
Guess I'll cope with the trauma of
Wait.
of bad memories being
Who
implanted.
cares if someone created you? You are you and nobody else. You have your own heart inside you. Those feelings and memories are yours, and yours alone. They're special.
Sora, you're a good guy. I don't have to be real to see how real your feelings are. That's good enough.
Riku! Riku.
Can you put our memories back?
yes. Not remembering something doesn't really mean that it's gone.
What do you mean?
When you remember one thing, that leads to remembering another.
No, it
And
doesn't.
then another, and then another. Our memories are connected.
Wouldn't we remember everything then? Because I remember
Many
Goofy, and then
pieces
I'd
are
remember
linked
meeting
together.
Goofy.
Like they're in a chain that makes up each of us. I don't actually erase any memories. just take apart the links and rearrange them.
Somehow
you
that's
still
worse.
have all your memories.
So you can put them back together?
Yes, but first, I have to undo the chains of the memories I made on my own. After
Now
I've
I get
done
it. A
that,
memory of chains.
I have to gather up the memories scattered
Wait.
across each of your hearts, and then reconnect them. It might take some time,
She said the thing.
but I think it might work. No, it will work. I'm sure. It's my turn to look after you.
All right.
It's only brain
We all
surgery.
really trust you.
Oh, wait a second. You said you'd have to undo the links of the memories you made. But that means...
Yes. You won't be able to remember anything about what happened here.
Not even
Awfully
you?
convenient for plot.
I'm sorry. It's the only way, I'm afraid. Sora, you have a choice. You can lose your memories of this castle and reclaim your old ones, or keep your memories here and give up the memories that you've lost.
Do I have to choose?
Yes, Sora.
Yes.
She just said that. And this kid's said the lobotomy was invented.
Make me like I was.
Oh,
Welcome to the audio. We just beat Marluxia,
nobody
young
needs
Blake.
to keep a bunch of memories that aren't real, right? You want to remember all of the people who are really important to you. Anybody would choose that.
Egg. You are a people nominee.
Remember again?
Well, not yet. She'll
Not
become a
this
people.
weekend yet?
Yes. It's going to take a little time, but I'll take care of you.
Gosh, when we wake up, we won't remember who you are anymore.
But how are we gonna thank you?
Why can't you
Don't
say thank
worry
you right
about
now?
that. I'll just make a big note in my journal. And it will say thank nominate.
And it will be the spawn of another
good.
re-game
That
called
makes me feel
Recoded.
better.
Well, good night then, nominee.
Good night, Goofy.
Cue my sanctuary and
You
tears as
too,
Rox disappears.
Sora.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of this may have started with a lie, but I really am glad that I could meet you, Sora.
Yeah. Me too. When I finally found
Yeah,
you,
Recoded is the game everyone
even when I
understands the
remembered your
least.
name, I was happy. The way I felt then, that was no lie.
Goodbye.
No, not
That
goodbye.
hurts. Yeah. Yep.
When I wake up, I'll find you. And then there will be no lies. We're gonna be friends for real. Promise me, Naminé.
You're going to forget making that promise.
If the chain of memories comes apart, the links will still be there, right? So the memory of our promise will always be inside me somewhere. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, it's a promise.
Good. Until later.
They're really good at saying it.
A promise. Huh. Sora, some of your memories links are deep in the shadows of your heart, and I won't be able to find them. But don't worry. You made another promise to someone who you could never replace. She is your light. The light within the darkness. Remember her, and all the memories lost in the shadows of your heart will come into the light.
Another promise.
Look at the good luck charm. I changed its shape when I changed your memory. But when you thought of her just once, it went back to the way it was.
Sora gets the main pod because he has main character energy. But yeah, this final cutscene really, it is actually quite touching if you know like what's coming in the plot. If you have no idea, you're like probably thinking like, what is happening? I promise it all links together and actually makes sense. And it's actually quite moving when it all fits together, as young Blake said. So now Sora needs to go to sleep. He goes to bed. Night night. And he'll dream of Final Fantasies. Hey, Shadow Vision.
Kairi! My friends. Naminé?
Don't worry. You might forget about me. But with our promise, I can come back.
We'll figure that out in a
Promise
couple
is
of
a
games.
promise.
Yes. One day the light, it will be ours, and it will bring us together.
And 2 console generations
Till
later.
then, I'll be in your heart.
Right. Forgotten, but not lost.
Oh. So that is Free Chain of Memories. And I can't skip the credits. Yeah, I have to try not to cry real hard. Yeah, there are some really sad moments in Kingdom Hearts as a series. Yep, Yoko Shimomura also did the Mario RPG music. I love Yoko Shimomura's work. She does a great job. So, oh well, we're just waiting and chilling because there is something after this too. There's more. It's not over yet. I can turn into a VTuber at any moment. Behold, meet more Father Evan. It's something you can call on screen, and it's something I can call on screen. I'm super happy with how that Meet Morph turned out. Shout out to Junie. Junie did a great job. Also as an emote. I have one open static emote slot, but I need to save it because I want to make Swoliel an emote. But it needs to be Swoliel's body as a static one, and then 2 of the moving ones will be his arms moving up and down on either side. That's what you love about this entire series. Hey, did you enjoy the action, the characters, emotionally invested? Yeah. Yeah, there's some great moments. What? You don't like the Meep Morph? There's one spot on my hair I don't like how it's sitting. You love the meat more? Oh, all right. I just saw the nose shroom, so. Yeah, Young Blick, I totally vibe with you on that. For me, it's the music is a major thing. So like listening to the music outside and like knowing what it's tied to in the game, it's just like, oh, I get so emotionally connected to it. This VOD is gonna get muted. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, Utada's really good. Utada and Shimomura worked together really well, especially on Sanctuary. Play a cover on the kazoo. Where is my kazoo? Is it up? I think my kazoo's upstairs in my room. I own like an actual nice metal kazoo. I also own a jaw harp. I need to get a slide whistle to add to it, so it's gonna be all the weird pin instruments. And yet, I also somehow believe that a kazoo cover would still get... Oh, wait, look, check it out. It's a guy. If you know nothing about the series, that means nothing. But if you know the series, you're like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it kind of sucks that Pitoni's not interested, but also his lack of interest is itself comedic to me. So... people in robes. Dun dun dun. There is always sleep between part and meat, with our usual words on the usual street. What? So let us part like we always do, and in a world without you, I'll dream of you. When I come to, let us meet, with our usual words on the usual street. Woo! Special treasures obtained, 5 of 24. But we were a rare card hunter, so that's cool. Slate most often used, Blitz. Yeah. Alright, let's save. Sadness of 358 is next to Shion. Oh my gosh. I love the ending of Shion. Like, it's sad, but the ending of Shion is so well done. Of her story arc in 358. I'm so excited. Everyone has a bunch of huge thick zippers. Yeah, check it out. We've unlocked Reverse Rebirth. So this, I believe this was added just for the PS2 remake. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to put this on beginner mode. You can laugh at me all you want, but I just kind of want to power through it because this game has kind of dragged on. Because I really want to get to the next RPG we're doing, because we do a Kingdom Hearts RPG and then a not Kingdom Hearts. And the not Kingdom Hearts RPG we're doing next is Knights of the Old Republic.
Where am I?
Stay asleep.
Who's there?
You should remain asleep.
Sora can have as many people as he wants in his heart.
Here,
It's a big heart.
between light and dark.
Between what?
Reaver's Rebirth is a lot of fun.
Where's the king?
I actually found it easier
Together we
my first
closed the door to
playthrough.
darkness. After that,
You came drifting here by yourself. You did not have the strength to overcome the darkness. Or maybe you were close to it.
Their
as
bets
if
for
I'm some
enlarged
kind of
hearts.
demon.
Turn from the light. Shut your eyes. Here, blanketed
darkness is
by
trying to
the
lead him astray.
darkness, Sleep is safety. Sleep is eternal. But
What's this?
it is a door to the truth.
Isn't
Take
this
it
true,
and your
Xehanort?
sleep ends as you
I
take
don't
the
even know
first
anymore.
step toward
Probably.
the truth. But know this. The truth will bring you pain. Will you still go? There is no return to the security of sleep.
Oh, that true Xehanort? Yeah, I think this is supposed to be Diz. Yeah, it's D lowercase I capital Z because. Ooh.
This seemed like a boring place to take a nap anyway.
That was very well said, Riku.
No, it wasn't. Wouldn't you want a boring place to take a nap? Like Disney. Exact. I think I hate to admit, but I think that's actually what it's a reference to. Yeah, Yensid exists in the universe. And then there's Arrakis, which is a
door to the truth, huh?
respelling of Square. So you may notice something. That we're in the basement, first of all. So we're on basement 12. But generally the metaphor is that as Sora goes up the castle, Riku descends it to get out and... Make me laugh. Oh, well that's... honey, I'm not sure that's going to work. Anyway, I love talking about my pet penguin when I go to social events. He makes a great icebreaker. You didn't know Matt Pack was here? Oh, I make father jokes. I don't make dad jokes, I make father jokes. This is Hollow Bastion. What you see is not real, it's the world of your memory. My memory? The things you remember from Maleficent's castle became a card. Okay, there's a lot in that sentence. And that card made this world. Okay. Sure. You've seen everything here before, haven't you? Yeah. So what now? Am I going to learn something? Maybe meet someone? You would meet people. Meet people in your memories. Ordinarily. What does that mean? Hey, I'm asking you a question. Stupid ominous voice in the sky. Fine. But it better be you I run across next. Voice. Meeples in your memory. Meep the beetle. Step Zero has teamed Meep. Where's he gonna show up? Oh, honey, got more of a laugh. Well, I made you laugh. So here's the key difference between Riku and Sora. You can't control Riku's deck. It changes every time you level up. He also reloads faster. A screen filling meep? You mean like this? So yeah, you can up his HP, his attack points, and then he gets dark points, which is kind of like magic. Where is Little Meep? He's not showing up. There's canon reasons why that mechanic exists. Probably. It's Kingdom Hearts after all. There's canon reasons for everything. But you'll also notice he isn't using a Keyblade. He has his sword that he had during Kingdom Hearts 1. You can canonize everything if you write better. You're right, fair enough. You wasted a meep. I'm sorry. It's still new, so I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to make it work here. I'll redeem one for you. Okay, I'm on cooldown. Here we go. Let's... I may have to do some work on the back end. It seems to be... Something seems to be glitching. And I apologize for that. Glitching meeples, that's scary. Yeah. It's not what I actually wanted, but oh well.
Take this. Like it.
Yeah, it was working. I did do a cooldown for 1 minute on it, because if I did more... Because he shows up and he stays... His animation is for 30 seconds, so he walks on and then should just stay there for 30 seconds. I did cooldown of a minute, because I realized you can flood the screen with him. If there wasn't a cooldown. Which would be funny, but maybe a bit much. So? Well, occasionally, you know, it might get a little much or obnoxious. You saw my plan coming. Yeah, I did. Because I did it. I tested it. I was like, oh, you just keep spamming this. I forgot how quickly Riku just levels up at the beginning. He also has a much floatier jump, I feel. You say that like it's a bad thing. Maybe I thought maybe people might want to see the game sometime, but apparently people just want to see the meat. Free the meeples. This is his Keyblade, but it's the Darkness variant, so it's his Keyblade, but he doesn't know it's a Keyblade yet, basically. There, I'll free the meeples for a bit. It was sad when he lost this Keyblade and had to trade it in for a minivan key.
Take this! Like it!
Well, how else would you describe that key that he gets in 3? Oh, that's not the room I'm headed towards yet. Oops. Oh well.
Like it! Take this!
And it's wrapped in Band-Aids. I mean... I can't activate the free range meep either, is part of the problem. And I love that I can do that with a click of a button on my Stream Deck. Five up. I don't have a 5 up, actually. I have a 0. Oh, it has to be a 5 up. Oh. Well, let's go do some fights. The fights found us.
Like it! Take this! Take this!
He's such a meathead. Well, I'm afraid I do not get that reference, but I will take your word for it. Yeah, I think something's glitched on Trigger Fire, which is the website that activates that.
Like it! Take this!
Man, if we had actually been able to defeat Axel like on the first or second try last week, we probably could have beaten the game. Ah, that's so frustrating. Well, I blame being sick. Wait, this isn't the right room either. Dang it. I keep going to the wrong doors. Look, I have like a bajillion extensions and things running through Twitch and OBS to make my streams work the way they are. Something's bound to fail eventually. Nope, that wasn't it. Oh, I can use the 0 there, apparently? Well, whatever. I guess it's just on key doors you can't. I don't even know the rules of this game anymore. Everything is just how I remembered it. Even this room, which we've never seen before. It must be nice being back in your old bedroom. Think of all the memories. You again. Sorry, but these memories I could do without. Maleficent gave me this room. So she did. And you lived here, tempted by the darkness she offered. You cast away your home, your friends, everything, but at least they gave you a nice room. Stop talking, stop rubbing it in that I really screwed up.
Take this! Take this! Like it! Take this!
We're very close to a level, so...
Like it!
Quit hiding in the floor!
Take this!
And you're often locked into just one choice with Riku's level ups. Sometimes you can choose attack power, but once that reaches a certain cap, then it's just HP. And every so often you get the dark power. But I'm not going to worry nearly as much about doing fights on the Riku side of things. There's part why it should go faster. Dark power is probably what you enjoy most about Riku's route. No one is here either. There's nothing but Harless in this castle. Voice! I know you're watching, so explain this. Where are the people from my memories? Do you want to see them? Of course I do. But you cast them aside. What? You dreamt of the outside world and you passed through the door to darkness. Behind you, you left family, friends, home, everything, all in pursuit of darkness. But I cast that aside too. And what do you have to show for it? First your home, then the dark. Your heart only knows how to cast away. Ooh, savage. It's empty, like that room. Like your memories, that's why you don't meet anyone. Your heart is hollow, except for the residual darkness. You're wrong, I rejected the darkness. Did you really now? Oh, hello, Maleficent. I knew you would return, Riku. Maleficent, you're alive? You haven't been paying attention. I am but a figment of your memory. All the people I could run into, it had to be you. But of course, after all, your heart is steeped in darkness. You can only see those who exist in that same darkness. No! Be grateful you have someone to keep your company. Your heart is empty. Were it not for the darkness it contains, you would be completely alone. That's sounding pretty good right about now. Oh, come now. You once turned to me to sate your hunger for darkness. You want me here. But who can grant you the darkness for long? There was a time I did want you around. I surrendered my heart to the dark. But never again. You and your darkness have nothing to offer. All I did was lose myself, empty myself. I'm finished with all that. If I'm stuck seeing people like you, people of the dark, I'll take you out one by one. Then you mustn't forget to destroy yourself at last. For like me, you are one of the dark. That's fine with me. I turned to darkness because my heart was weak. I hate that weakness. It's like I'm my own enemy. And seeing people like you embrace the darkness just makes it worse. Enough talk, Maleficent. Have at you! So you hate darkness enough to fight it. Oh, the agony you must feel. Then let me end your pain, Riku. End it forever. With the wondrous power of darkness. He goes to his room to blast emo punk. When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band. Let's put out some of this fire, please. Oh, whoa, what? I have a levitating platform? Hello? I did not remember the Joker doing that, but that is awesome. Riku, get out of the fire. I'm trying to get you to jump out of the fire. You keep jumping into it. Riku, you'd better beat Maleficent. I don't have any healing. There we go. Wait, if I can't... Riku cannot customize his deck. See? You just get what you get. But I guess you start with these. Sacrifice reload speed to power up attack cards. Ooh. Decreased damage received by physical attacks. That seems useful. Excuse me. No, do not save over the one I just completed, please.
Why do you shun the darkness?
Come on, I know you heard me. Every word I said to Maleficent.
Darkness is your weapon. It is time you learned you must accept it.
What do you mean?
Stop resisting. Accept the darkness. You have no choice. If you are to serve me again.
I don't want to serve you.
I thought it was you, Ansem.
Oh, you don't seem surprised.
All you have been talking about is the darkness. I can only assume you want to pull me back in, so you can play puppet master.
Clever boy. I knew you'd be the one to most appropriately serve me. And now,
Does Ansem is
surrender to
actually
me
saying it
again.
right? No.
You're crazy!
It's
Not
more
a
complicated
chance.
than that. This might just be a projection of real Ansem,
Did
too.
you really think you could
But
do
generally,
me harm?
Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, he
A
is the
weakling like you couldn't even defeat
heartless
Sora,
of
and you had
Terra
darkness
Xehanort,
on your side.
who is Terra's body controlled by Xehanort's heart.
Oh, excuse me for being weak.
You are weak.
Sir, you don't tip well. I'm
need
not serving you.
darkness. Surrender.
It's fair.
Bow to darkness. Bow to me.
That's not gonna happen.
Only the darkness can offer to you
Ansem got Nord. Ansem
all
started
of the
Norded.
strength that you will need.
You're wrong.
Your Majesty.
That voice. Your Majesty?
That's right. Remember, Riku, you're not alone.
Uh-huh. I'll help you through.
Listen close. The light'll never give up on you. You'll always find it, even in the deepest darkness.
I got it.
Thank you, Sub-Zero. I
won't
now
lose
have
to
Phantasmic
darkness.
stuck in my head.
Not today.
You think that feeble little light can save you from the darkness that I command?
And you see that? I want to say a thing about that in the back, but I don't know. That's spoilers. You shall feel darkness everywhere. Give me all you've got. I'll give it right back. And Ansem shows his card. Break it right away. Rapid break. Quickly break the opponent's card for a boost in attack. Not giving up. I wonder how much of this you can take. I'm just going along until you give up. He's doing pretty well. Show the same valued card as the opponent's impressed triangle. I did that. I'm doing the thing. Oh, play it and then. Okay, I get it. You have to play it and then duel.
Get a load of this!
Duel system. I had forgotten about that.
What? That all you got?
It seems to me that you are intent on resisting the darkness.
Yes.
All right, then see it for yourself.
I can't. It's darkness. That's
This
a
is
card.
a card crafted from your memory. Advance through the world it creates, and soon you will understand. Chasing after light is not the way. It will not give you distance from the darkness. There is no running from the darkness.
Don't worry, I'm not running. Give it. I'll enter the world, and in the end, if I haven't given in to the darkness, then I win.
I have one more gift for you.
That doesn't seem like
What'd
much
you
of a
do?
gift.
I simply tempered the darkness.
Kingdom
that yet
Hearts is
remains
light.
in your heart.
You still think that I'd rely on darkness?
To use it or not is your choice. I'll be waiting, Riku, for you to sense it and yield to the darkness in your heart.
Riku learns D mode. Dark mode can be activated when accumulated through dark points, which you get through card breaks. In dark mode, your skills are powered up and you have more slates to choose from. DP is lost when your card is broken or you receive damage. Okay.
Don't I even warrant a hello, Lexaeus?
What is going on here, Zexion? I want an explanation.
Nice to see you too, Vexen. It's such a shame. The organization used to be the rope that bound us together.
You're only number 6. How dare you?
Let it go, Vexen.
Hey, Pentakill, thank you for the sub. Hope you enjoy those emotes.
Zexion, tell us. What did you detect?
There is no...
Visitors.
You're right, there
I
is no
picked up
consistent
2
way to pronounce
scents
the X in everyone's name
the
in
castle's lowest
Organization
basement.
13.
One of them was Maleficent.
Don't be absurd. The witch is gone. She cannot return from the realm of darkness of her own volition.
If you would let me finish. The scent belonged not to the real Maleficent, but to a very convincing double. But I truly cannot say much beyond that, since the double is no more.
Why are you smelling
Our
them?
other visitor saw to that.
And who is it?
I do not know for sure, but the scent was very similar to that of the Superior.
And yet, not exactly
Zexion,
the
why are
same,
you going
was
around
it?
smelling everyone? It's weird.
This truly piques my curiosity.
Now, what to do?
We wait. See what develops.
Puppy sniffing. Yeah, no, that doesn't make it better.
Something smells funny. What's that scent? It's so familiar. Darkness. It's the smell of darkness.
What is with the obsession of smell all of a
I can't
sudden?
believe this is happening. The darkness even seeped into my skin.
Don't worry, Riku.
Your Majesty!
We'll give you a tomato bath later. Uh-huh. Your Ghost Majesty.
Oh, what happened? I can see right through you.
Funny, huh? I can only send a bit of my power to this place. That's why I've got a request for you.
Request?
Listen, Riku. Just because darkness holds you, don't let go of who you are. You've got to fight the darkness inside you. It won't be easy to do, I know. But please don't forget, even in the darkest darkness, there's always a little bit of light.
Light within darkness.
You and I have seen it. The far welcoming light inside the door to darkness. The light of Kingdom Hearts.
Just
It
how
will
powerful.
show you the
Mickey
way.
is one of the most powerful beings
Please
in the
don't give
worlds
up.
of Kingdom
Believe
Hearts.
in the light. That's a request from my heart.
Okay. I'll do my best.
Trust me, I'll try to find a way to reach you. I'll get there. I promise.
Oh. You're an illusion.
Don't worry. We shook hands in our hearts, remember? We're connected, you and me.
Guess we are.
Can you shake hands in hearts? Just asking for a friend. It keeps wanting me to save over that one automatically for some reason. I don't know why. But I do know that that's going to be a good place to call it. Because that's conveniently at about the usual 2-hour mark. A squishy process that usually happens during surgery. But yeah, you could handshake a heart. No, it would take 2 hearts. Handshakes with hearts. Series. And I do love this series. And I'm glad that we got to see the ending of Sora's side. And we're starting in on Riku's. And Riku's is much faster. So it should be fun. So yeah, so it's good to be back on the regular schedule. I'll be streaming again tomorrow, doing some Minecraft for Retro Tuesday, and then Thursday looking at a game called Synaxarion on the Switch for Spirituality Thursday. So that should be interesting to look at. And then the following week, basically the exact same. And then after Easter, it's looking like I'm going to be able to start RPG Mondays as being 3 hours. So I'm excited about that little bit of time increase to explore these stories more. So thank you to everyone who's joined today, liked, followed, subscribed. Everyone who's joined the Discord, thanks so much. Hope everyone has a great rest of your week. I hope to see you tomorrow. Aorta, I hate these jokes. Oy vey. Let's see if there's someone to raid, shall we? Sure, let's send you over to Petoni. He's playing some Dark Souls. When we get there, why not go ahead, spam the new Meet More Excite emote. This one, the shake. Show it off to everyone. Let's go ahead and start that raid. Now let's listen. What's he up to? Oh, he is fighting a big, ugly thing. Which I know doesn't narrow it down much in Dark Souls, but, you know, here we are. So, all right. Well, I'm going to send you all over. Have a great day. Take care, and God bless.